What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Hope everybody's doing well on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. We got blessed with a terrific Thursday night matchup. The Ravens come away victorious with the 35-34 win. There were some controversial no calls like always. Zach Taylor went with the big balls decision to go for two and try to win the game, but it failed. The Bengals' playoff hopes are now on life support. We got a lot to discuss about tonight's game. Before we do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon so you don't miss when we go live and when we drop new content, and let's dive into it. So the Ravens take down the Bengals 35-34 was the final. Lamar Jackson is now 6-1 in his career against Joe Burrow. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. If Jesus played football, he would be Lamar Jackson. This dude is unstoppable. Okay, he had a play in the first half when he's running outside the pocket. It looks like he's about to get sacked, and then he just makes a few guys miss on the edge of the sidelines and damn near scores a touchdown. You cannot stop Lamar Jackson. And at this point, I'm willing to admit Lamar Jackson is the greatest quarterback in NFL history if you take Super Bowls out of the equation. They don't call Bill Russell the GOAT, even though he has more championships than LeBron and Jordan. And you can't always judge how good a player is solely based off championships, because Super Bowls are a team accomplishment, not an individual accomplishment, a team accomplishment. If you were to ask me right now who is pound for pound the greatest quarterback that ever touched the football, I'm going with Lamarvelous, man. He's the most talented quarterback ever. He throws the football at an elite level. He's running the football at an elite level. We will never see another talent like Lamar Jackson ever again play the quarterback position. Enjoy every game that you watch from Lamar from this point forward, because this dude is only growing his legend for what's soon to be the most talented quarterback that ever played this game, man. He was on fire tonight. So was Joe Burrow. Joe Shiesty was doing his thing out there. 4 touchdowns, no picks, 428 passing yards. He drove the Bengals downfield, put them in position to win, but they just couldn't get it done. And when they were up 21-7 midway through the third quarter, it felt like they were going to get an easy win. But once Chase Brown got the ball stripped from him, he got his lunch money took, the Ravens capitalized off it, and eventually what looked like a easy win for Cincinnati turned into a huge disappointment, because you had ample opportunities to win this game. You get up 21-7, you feel really good about your chances of winning the game, but you get a few mistakes in there. The Ravens start getting the momentum on their side, and then it was just an onslaught from there. And when the Bengals hit that 60-something, 70-something yard touchdown to Jamar Chase to tie the game back up, you knew this was going to end up becoming a game of whoever gets the ball last was going to win it. And when Baltimore went up 35-28, I texted one of my homies. I told him the Bengals are going to drive downfield. My glorious King Joe Burrow is going to engineer a game-winning touchdown drive, and they're going to go for the 2-point conversion to seal the victory. Now, I was right when it came to 2 out of 3 of those predictions. The third prediction, the 2-point conversion, didn't come to fruition because there was a holding call that didn't get called. And you had a roughing the passer penalty, which if you don't want to call that, it's understandable. But you at least should have called the holding call. It was blatantly obvious that Jamar Chase got held on that 2-point try. Come on now. Like, these referees are awful. You can't overlook key calls like this. And it's funny because anytime there was a costly penalty on Baltimore, the refs are rigging the game for the Bengals to win. But when there's missed calls on Cincinnati, though, nobody's outraged about it. These referees suck, but you can't blame the refs for why they lost this game. The Bengals lost this game because at the end of the day, when you go for it on 2-point conversion tries, you're confident that your offense has a few plays up their sleeves that in that short area have a high chance of being able to help you convert. And the plays that Zach Taylor dialed up, I wasn't really in a huge agreement with. I felt you either should throw a back shoulder fade to Jamar Chase or you just run the football up the middle. Those are high percentage plays when you get into those short yardage situations. When you draw back the pass in a situation like that where you only got like 5 yards to room, everything's condensed, you got a really high chance of mistakes happening, guys either run into each other or interception gets thrown or you have some holding penalties or pass interference calls that the refs just don't see. The Bengals, though, I don't hate the decision to go for 2. I felt like that was the right call because you know your defense can't be dependent upon to win the game for you. If you go for the field goal, you tied up 35-35, the Ravens still have 2 timeouts and a little bit left on the clock to get in the field goal range for Justin Tucker to kick the game winner. And I know Justin Tucker has had a down season. He looks washed, but you never want to count out the GOATs. And Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker in NFL history. And in a situation like that, you don't really want to allow him the opportunity to win the game, regardless of how he's played this season. So Cincinnati, regardless if they got the 2-point try or not, they were kind of screwed regardless. Your defense played well for the first 3 quarters and some change, but once Chase Brown fumbled, that's when the momentum of this game shifted and the Ravens took control. The Ravens in the first half didn't look that good. They got stopped on 3 out of 4 of their possessions. You know, the run game wasn't really as dominant as what we've seen the last couple of weeks with Derrick Henry. He got held to under 100 yards rushing. And defensively, Baltimore, I got questions about this team being a Super Bowl contender because of how bad this defense is. I trust Lamar, but do you trust this defense to stop Patrick Mahomes from driving downfield the final 2 minutes of the game and leading Kansas City to another Super Bowl? Because I could see it happening. I don't think the Ravens have a championship caliber defense that's good enough to keep Patrick Mahomes and company, you know, from driving downfield in a situation where the game's on the line and being able to keep them from winning it. If the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this year, it's solely going to be on the shoulders of Lamar Jackson. And he's more than shown in previous games this year that he can carry this team on his back. He had another game when he had a perfect passer rating. This like the 5th game this season, he had a perfect passer rating. And he's pretty much on his way to winning his 3rd MVP, which should be unanimous, by the way, because there's no quarterback that's playing as good as what Lamar is right now. He has the best touchdown interception ratio in the league. He's killing you inside the pocket. He's killing you outside the pocket. Nobody knows how to stop Lamar. The Ravens next week have a date with the Pittsburgh Steelers for first place in the AFC North. That's going to be a huge game. Lamar's kryptonite are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though he has a winning record against everybody else, when he plays the Steelers, though, Mike Tomlin and company seem to have his number. We'll see if he'll be able to overcome his biggest weakness next week. But Cincinnati, your playoff hopes still aren't over. You're 4-6. You still have a very favorable schedule coming up. I believe you can split the season series with the Steelers. I expect you to be able to beat the Chargers. There's not really a team on on the Cincinnati Bengals schedule that they don't have the ability to beat. Joe Burrow is playing the best football of his career. He's an MVP candidate, by the way, too. It's just that you have 2 teams that, unfortunately, both have bad defenses, but are getting career great quarterback play out of their respective starters. But the difference between the two is that Lamar Jackson has just been completely all world this year compared to Joe Burrow, who's been great, but there's been certain spots where You know when you're throwing Hail Marys on 3rd and 2 when 4th and 2, those are the differences in the game of you winning and losing when you're going up against a team like the Baltimore Ravens, which, you can make the debate that they're the best team in the league right now. Rather, if you want to go with them or the Detroit Lions, they either are the best or the second best team right now because they're on a warpath. They started out on 2, and since then, it's been pretty much up from there. So the Ravens walk away. They improved to 7-3 on the year with this 35-34 victory. Leave your thoughts on this game down in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys shortly with another episode.